Hello, everybody, and welcome to our latest merchant webinar at Zoe. This is Josh from the partnerships team, and I'm going to keep this intro short because we have a lot to get to. Today, I'm happy to welcome back to the series Eric DePalma, who is our VP of Product here at Zoe. And today, we're actually going to take a look at something that's coming soon, our update to the Visual Design Editor, which has been in the works for a number of months here. We're really excited to share with you a lot of the improvements and changes that are coming. So without further ado, let me introduce Eric, and he'll take you through it.
Thank you, Josh. Hello and welcome to the first preview of what we're calling the Zoe Visual Design Editor version 3. As an e-commerce merchant, presentation can be everything, which makes visual design one of the most important functions of your chosen platform. At Zoe, we've put a big emphasis on giving our merchants more power and control over the design and content of your store, so you can best reach your target audience and drive conversions. So let's begin with a high-level overview of what the version 3 editor is. For those of you familiar with Zoe Drag and Drop Visual Design Editor, you'll immediately understand when I tell you that the toolkit being added in version 3 is focused on making visual design easier, faster, and more powerful than ever before. We've listened to the feedback from our merchants and partner community and have come up with a product that allows anyone to quickly and easily build a beautiful e-commerce store and provides access and flexibility necessary to build the custom site that you need. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly how we're accomplishing this goal and why you should be just as excited as I am to start using the new design toolkit. So we'll start with what's new, an overview of the major features being released that make it easier, faster, and more powerful than ever before. We wanted to make it not only easier, but more beautiful. Good visual design can be difficult, so we decided to lend a helping hand. In collaboration with some of our design and development partners, we built a series of over 100 new blocks that make it up to 10 times faster to build a beautiful page for your store. That means we're providing you with pre-built design components called blocks that can be added to your page with a single click. Among these new blocks, you're going to find things like image galleries, new slideshows, banners with titles, links, and buttons built in, video blocks, social media feeds, newsletter forms, and information templates, and a whole lot more, all of which are easy to drag and drop right into your page and are fully responsive to tablet and mobile. So every page in your visual design editor can benefit from these new blocks. And the best part is actually coming a little bit later in this presentation, so please stick around. So with these new blocks comes a new menu for navigating through and adding them to your page. We've simplified the grouping and added sub-menu navigation to make it faster and easier to find what you need. Once you find that block that you need, like this 4-column image gallery, simply click or drag and drop it into your page. If you want to try something different, we've even added a new button that allows you to change it to a different block. So for instance, here we have a 4-column image block and then a change gallery button. That change gallery button will let us choose maybe like a 3-column or a 2-row layout. So I'm actually going to walk you through a little bit of a demo of how to add and how to change something that's existing. So without ado, here's the demo. So here we have the Armitage theme. You can see this is a drag and drop header. All the pieces are separate, and a change header button. That change header button lets me access all of the different new headers that are coming pre-built into Zoe V3. So I can easily click that change header button and switch to one of those multiple templates that we have for you, and they just pop up right there for you. So this next feature is really fantastic for so many reasons. This is one of the most exciting things for me. We call it our Content Manager, or the CMS. So right now, as you might know with the drag and drop editor, you can click anything to edit it, which is great, but it can be tedious and time consuming. So we've made it even simpler with the Zoe CMS. As you recall with those new blocks I showed you, we're grouping all things together, like an image, text, and a button, and maybe even settings into a single block. The Zoe CMS allows you to edit all of those things in a single interface with one click. You can still click to edit some of the smaller blocks, but we're also giving you the ability to click and edit any grouping of blocks that are contained either within a box, or you can edit all the content in the body of your page or the header or the footer. We also understand how small businesses operate. Content management can be its own job title, and sometimes you wouldn't want the same person to also be in charge of visual design decisions. So along with the CMS, we've created a CMS-only role that allows you to lock down that visual design, but still provide the ability for someone on your team to go into each page and manage the content. So let me show you how the CMS is actually going to work with your site, because I've talked a little bit about how it's going to work with the new pieces, but also it's important that they work with some of the existing pieces that you've already put into your store. So here you see that same Armitage theme. That header has an edit button, and this is a new block, so you see how everything is contained into a single interface for content management. But as I scroll down, you're going to see that I have 3 individual images here, each which can still be edited individually by clicking Edit, but also those are wrapped inside of a box. And I can edit that box, and you'll see now I can edit all 3 images at the same time. This concept applies throughout my theme. So if I wanted to edit the entire body of the page, I can click Edit Body. If there are other groupings, I can edit that group, or I can still click any of the individual pieces. So the next major feature we've added is a new, more comprehensive theme branding tool. Speaking with our design agency partners, branding is more than just 2 fonts and a few colors. Branding is a feeling accomplished by a pairing of colors, typography, imagery, and everything kind of mixed together. So we built our new branding tool with that in mind. Now you have the ability to specify color pairings, typography settings, and up to 17 individual style groups that will be used throughout your entire theme. This also ensures that when you drag and drop one of our new blocks into your theme, it comes pre-configured to match your specified branding settings. You'll find that throughout your visual design editor, the design tool will now give you quick access to theme styles, as well as the ability to specify custom settings for each individual block. So let's go over how branding is going to work. This is one of the only areas we're going to be asking for your permission before this feature starts working. So what you're going to see is we still have that theme fonts and colors tool, but when you click on it, it's going to ask you if we can update your theme styles. Right now, the theme styles are quite limited. You don't have as many options as you're going to have with the new tool. So we're asking your permission before we say we want to use all the new styles. We've created internally a mapping so that all of your old colors, all of your old fonts, and other settings get moved over perfectly into the new system. But there are a few other new things, such as a tertiary typography setting, a few other settings inside of typography, and a third button style, and a couple other things like a third background that have to be set by the user so that it's compatible throughout your entire theme. So I mentioned that we asked for your permission, so I figured I'd spend a minute to talk about compatibility. The version 3 design tools are fully compatible with existing drag and drop themes, so I don't want you to be concerned at all there. You don't have to upgrade or migrate, and you don't even have to use the new branding tool. Everything will continue to work as is. The branding tool is optional. You can click to use it, but everything else will just come in for you. So nothing else has been removed. You're not going to lose any functionality, and other features like the CMS, new blocks, will now be seamlessly integrated into your design editor. So with that in mind, let's move on. We're going to move into features. So you asked for it and we listened. We got dozens of requests over the past year for new design features and components, and now we're delivering them to you. Everything from mega menus to language flags, the ability to add your own social media icons to full width videos and autoplay, and there's a lot more to come, but let's dive into a few of them right now. We're really excited to show you a whole new way to build and manage slideshows. We're introducing a new concept called slide templates, meaning that you can easily add a slide that's pre-built with an image and, let's say, a text and a button. So you can just, with a single click, add that into your slideshow. So let me just jump into this demo. So here you're going to see a slideshow, and I can click Edit and add a slide template. Once I have that slide template, I can drag and drop it into position and click Edit, and I get a new CMS window that lets me edit the pieces that go inside of that. So here when I click Submit, you'll see that here's my new slide. I can also individually design each block. So if I need to change the color or the sizing of the text or the color of the button, I could do that very easily for each slide. Next feature I'm going to talk about is the mega menu. It's another one of those long-awaited features. For those of you who don't know the difference between a regular menu and a mega menu, the mega menu allows you to add more dynamic content to your header navigation. So here what you're going to see, this is one of our new headers. And it has a sticky header, it has the new flags as I showed you, but it also has this mega menu. Multi-column, it has promo banners in it, it has thumbnails, and all this information comes dynamically from your categories. So inside of your admin, if you go to products categories, you can add a thumbnail, you can add the promo banner, and it'll show up right into your mega menu if you're using this new mega menu header. Make it full width is a request that we get all the time. Websites are typically restricted by inner and outer boundaries, but for modern designers, there's very often the need to make a block stretch beyond and go full width. So now we're giving you that ability. So what you see here is I have a really cool looking banner, one of our new blocks, and a make it full width button. So we click that button and boom, it becomes full width. We could also remove it and shrink it down to within those boundaries. This applies to all of our new banners, our new galleries, and our slideshows. I think slideshow, full width slideshow is definitely up there in the top 10 most requested features over the past 6 to 12 months. So I've shown you a lot of what can be done with blocks for your home page and other information pages, but what about those super important category and product pages? So now we're going to be providing you with full page template blocks that can be easily added and customized to your theme. So now building a product or category page, with smaller blocks can be very difficult. So we've simplified it, and in the process given you some of the great features that you've been asking for. As you can see on the screen here, we have a horizontal filter bar. So this is a filter toolbar that presents the filters in a new, more dynamic way than the typical what you see on the left, the filters on the left-hand side. We've also added in product flags so that your users can see the products that are new or on sale. And also on the product page, we've really gone ahead and focused attention on making sure information about those products is presented in the cleanest and easiest way so that we could drive conversions on your site. Another one of our most requested features is the category sidebar. For many businesses, the top nav just doesn't provide an adequate navigation for your catalog. So now we're providing you with several templates for a category sidebar that will dynamically display your category tree. This block can be added to any or all pages and will always show on every category, every category available for users to navigate to. And now the number one, this is actually the number one most requested feature, an editable contact us page. So now we're providing you with some beautiful building blocks for a stunning contact us page. We're adding in blocks that link in with JotForm, with Google Maps, that provide templates for business information, and also just link in directly with the Zoe Contact Us form so that you can quickly and easily put together an amazing Contact Us page for your customers. And one of the most added custom HTML blocks, the one that a lot of our customers are going out, grabbing code snippets and dropping into their design editor, is getting a whole lot easier with our partnership with Snap Widget. Snap Widget specializes in social media feeds. So feeds from either Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or even from your local phone or from a Dropbox repository. You can get all those images showing up in really cool slideshows and galleries on your website. So now with the new block that's going to be added to the Zoe Design Editor, you can drag and drop it in, paste in that little tiny code snippet from Snap Widget, and everything comes in very easily and beautifully. So now I want to jump into what's new for power users. I showed a lot of some of the great features we're adding, the things that merchants have been asking for, but a lot of our users have built some amazing custom stores with the tools that we have, and have really innovated with our existing toolkit. So I just want to assure you that's not going away. We're actually building on top of that. We're calling it now Build Your Own. The smaller pieces that you used to use to structure and build custom designs are now contained in its own section of the Add menu. And as I mentioned before, if you're using boxes, all of the content inside of the box can easily be edited in the CMS with a single click. This means it's easier for you to manage content without having to interact with the complex design that you've built. But there is more. We're adding the ability for you to lock down your work. If you've built a custom page or structure and wrapped it in a box, you can now lock that box to convert it into a single drag and drop piece. We're also giving you the ability to set restrictions on other admin users, whether or not they have the option to unlock those blocks. Locked blocks are also fully compatible with the CMS, again making it faster and easier than ever to manage content without impacting design or layout. So I'm going to jump into a demo of this. So here what you see is a large banner with a smaller box that has text and a button inside of it. This is something very typical that you would do if you're trying to build a really cool banner with the existing tools or with the build your own tools. And then I have the option to lock it down. Once it's locked down, you'll see that little orange lock icon in the top right, and I can move this all together and it doesn't separate. Also, I can click edit on the entire box and it'll give me the CMS for everything that's contained inside of it. So this is a really great feature that we think a lot of our more power users are going to love to take advantage of. And for those users who are skilled with some development abilities, this new feature will definitely appeal to you. We call it the Asset Manager. Currently, you can only add HTML, CSS, and JavaScript globally to every page in your theme. With the new Asset Manager, you can now add page-specific assets like CSS or JavaScript snippets, and you could determine where it loads in the page source. You can also manage other assets for your themes such as logos, favicons, and even upload custom fonts that will automatically show in your branding tool. Code assets can also be managed directly within the asset editor, or you can manage them externally as files on your computer and upload new versions. The last feature I'm going to discuss today is the new backup, audit, and restore function. Previously, we've asked users to make a copy of their theme or to duplicate their theme to maintain a snapshot in time, but now we're giving you the ability to quickly and easily back up your theme anytime without all the clutter. We're also going to be giving you an audit log of all the save and publish activity on your theme and taking snapshots of your theme daily. So if for any reason you need to jump back in time up to about 5 days, you can do that with just a few clicks. So I mentioned earlier about the blocks that one of the most exciting parts was coming later in the presentation. Well, for the first time, we are welcoming third-party developers into the Visual Design Editor by opening up code access for those building blocks and features. We launched our developer network in January of this year and have seen it grow tremendously. And now we're providing direct code access to everything we've built for the Visual Design Editor version 3. That means that registered developers will have the ability to quickly and easily modify or build their own blocks and themes, fully integrated with branding, CMS, and all the other tools that I've presented so far today. So this means the gate for custom development for design is finally open, and this means two very specific things for you. First, this means that our marketplace will be open for more than just apps. I know that you all got the email that our app marketplace just launched in April, but now we're making a big move to start to incorporate more design elements, those design blocks, and to incorporate more third-party themes into this marketplace. We're expecting some tremendous growth in this area this year, and are looking forward to seeing what can be accomplished now that third-party development is open for design. And second, you can do it too. There's often a need for something custom, and you no longer have to settle for workarounds and limitations. Our developer network is looking for the opportunity to build for you, and the developer toolkit we've built will let any developer come in and immediately build and launch apps, themes, and blocks, all of which can be built for you alone or listed on our marketplace for the Zoe community. So we have a couple upcoming webinars about this specifically. We're going to be having a developer webinar coming in about 4 to 5 weeks. We don't have an exact date, but I'm sure Josh will provide a lot more information to all of our merchants and to all of our developers. You could also go to zoe.com/merchant-webinars and see what's coming up in the pipeline. So now I'm just going to talk a little bit about the timeline. We went through a lot of content today. We're really excited to show this to you, but I'm also excited to tell you when this is happening. So as I mentioned, in April we launched the Zoe Marketplace. Today we're giving you this demo, and by the end of this week the developer beta finally opens for design. So for the first time this week we're going to be bringing on the backlog of beta testers and beta users, developers, to start building those things so we can see that marketplace grow and launch the design marketplace. All the tools that I presented today are planned to launch late May 2017, which is only just a few weeks away. It's the full launch of all the design v3 tools and features. So that's everything that I have today, and I'm sure that you guys have a lot of questions. Looking forward to answering any of those, and I hope you enjoyed what we showed today.
Excellent. Well, first off, thank you, Eric, for that very in-depth presentation. Quite a lot of information to digest. First things first, if this is your first time participating with us here on GoToWebinar, we do want to let you know that the best way to submit your questions now for the Q&A is using the questions feature inside the software. When you type in the information, it comes directly to us, and then we're able to address the questions for the entire room. While people are having a chance to submit those questions, one quick thing to talk about with the webinars, we haven't scheduled those follow-up webinars yet, so if you go to the Merchant Webinars page, you will not find it. But we will have those out soon, and once they are posted, we will send out a follow-up email to everybody so you can register. But we're looking forward to sharing more information as we get closer to launch, and then, of course, after launch to get everybody acclimated with the new tools. So let's take a look at some of the questions that have come in. The very first question we have is relating to the custom fonts that you mentioned, Eric. This particular customer uses a third-party service where they provide a JavaScript or a CSS snippet to link it in. They wanted to know if it still works, so it's Typekit and those types of solutions.
Yeah, absolutely. Typekit will continue to work. The code that you currently have inside of that HTML CSS editor is being moved to the asset manager. So instead of it being inside of the page editor, it's going to be moved out to the Edit My Design screen. So you can click on the gear icon, Asset Manager, and you'll see that your code will be there. Everything will be intact. Nothing is changing and going away. If you did want to purchase additional fonts or add a third or fourth font, you could do that as well with the Asset Manager. Also, once you do that with the Asset Manager, it'll show up in the branding tool so that you can select it from the list rather than having to use Typekit.
Perfect. Another question here was about the backup feature. Is there any plans to include A/B testing functionality as part of the backup feature?
That is a great question. A/B testing, we typically use Optimizely. So we have an Optimizely app that lets you add in the Optimizely snippet to do A/B testing. It's absolutely something that we will keep in mind for the future of the visual design editor. Right now, I don't have any immediate plans for the ability to build different pages and A/B test them. Mostly because the technical way to do the A/B test is easy. The difficult thing is the analysis of the data afterwards, and that's where tools like Optimizely or Google actually come in and handle those things very well. I think you'll probably, before having a tool built by us, see a better integration with the new tool by Google that is the direct competitor to Optimizely. So I definitely look out for that if A/B testing is something that you're really interested in doing.
Sorry, the next question here then, very simple one. When does the new visual editor launch?
Great, yeah, as the timeline slide showed, we are planning the end of May. So that would be the third or fourth week of May that's planned to launch.
The one thing I'll just note for everybody here is that we'll definitely be sending out an email prior to the launch so there's no surprises. So you'll know when you'll expect to see changes. So as we lock in on an actual final release date, things can shift by a few days based on testing or feedback. We'll obviously alert everybody to let them know that this is coming. The next question is, we have someone who isn't actually transactional yet. They're still building out their store, and their question is what's the likelihood that they could become a beta tester? What's the process for that?
Yeah, sure. So to become a beta tester, we ask two things. Either if you are a development agency or a development company, an app developer, theme developer, you can go directly to a website that Josh can share with a form to fill out and register to be a developer. For our customers, currently development capability is going to be part of one of the advanced packages, just because you would have the ability to deploy code only to your site. I think Josh can probably speak a bit more about the different packages. We're going to definitely share some more information as we get closer to launch about what will be available in those packages. But if you are interested, please contact us right away. Actually, we probably have your email, so either Yuri or someone from our support team can contact you now to talk about that. We already do have a few customers right now that are using the development tools to build apps for themselves. The design tools are coming online for those users this week. So if you'd like to be on that list, please let us know.
And just to follow up then, just to clarify, does that mean that for the design tools like the new VDE, they have to be a developer to beta test, or can a customer beta test the VDE without development tools?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. No, you don't have to be a developer to beta test. I mean, if you are going to be beta testing the developer tools, you should be a developer. It's not a a very simple thing to do, but it's simple if you are well versed in languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript. If you would like to take a look at the documentation, you can always go to developers.zoe.com. Take a look at what we have online there. If you think that this is something that you'd be able to do, yes, please contact us, and we'll definitely talk to you to see if we can get you set up with those tools.
Sounds good. Next question comes from a customer who's curious about the new category menus, the left side menus. What they'd like to know is it going to be able to be context sensitive? In other words, if you're in a certain category, have it only show other categories relevant to where you're in, such as like subcategories, or is it always the full tree hierarchy?
Currently, the ones that we have are the full tree hierarchy the entire time. But it's absolutely a highly requested feature what you're asking for it to be context sensitive. So that is something that I would anticipate is coming in the future. Or as I mentioned about limitations, if this is something that you need, please contact any of the developers from our. If you go to zoe.com, you click on Marketplace Agency Partners. Any of those developers, most of them are registered for a developer program and can build something like this either for you or something for the entire Zoe community.
Excellent. One of the questions that came in also was curious about custom code. Is custom code supported by the Zoe team now that there's an asset manager? So like if you have a support question relating to your custom code, is that something that Zoe can support?
Unfortunately not. Our Zoe customer support team is really there for the use of the platform and use of the typical tools, product management, checkout, and things like that. Anytime you dive into custom development, that does need to go to a developer for support. So generally, we tell our customer support if the function that is in question works without the custom code there, then it's not something that we can typically support. But it's always worth opening up a support request with our team, seeing if there's something that we know or that we've seen before. Also, I'd like to point out that a few new things have launched for support that can help in these cases. We just launched a new customer support forum because we've seen a lot of our customers, our Zoe merchants, helping other merchants. So we really do want to encourage that. So as there are a lot of users right now that are adding custom code to their site and running into these problems, we're seeing that they can actually help other people out without having to wait for our customer support team to interface with our development team.
Very good. And also one thing that we'll point out too, and it's just something always good to remind everybody, is that all of our plans include obviously access to the knowledge base and the support tickets, but there's even also scheduled calls capability. So if there's very specific questions that you have that's easier to talk through than to do via ticket, there is a link that you can schedule a call with one of our support team members. And it can be helpful at times, and it's something just to keep in mind as far as your support options. One other thing too, I just wanted to jump back because we're obviously taking notes of some of the questions and discussing internally. If there are non-developers that are interested in testing the new VDE, what I would encourage you to do is to open a ticket at support. We will see what possibilities there are for the beta test. There may be the opportunity for a couple of our customers that are not developers who just want to get a chance to try the new tools to be able to participate. We're still working out those questions though, so please submit the ticket, and obviously if we can accommodate, we will, and if not, we'll have them out in the next month anyway, but we'll definitely take a look at that as an option. Next question, where or how can we access images to delete those that may not be used anymore, or to even download images being used on the site?
So, I'm sorry, so might need to get a little bit of clarity on that question, but when you open up the CMS and you have an image that you can edit, there is the Media Manager. That's where you can drag and drop new images into there. You can also search for them. We have a search bar and the ability to delete. So if you do need to delete an image asset, you could do that. Our images are stored in the cloud and distributed with our CDN. So there is no direct access to that storage if you need to access them. But we also, if you need to bulk upload, we have an image importer tool that allows you to bulk upload images. If you want to provide any more clarity on specifically what you're trying to do, please put it back into the questions area. Alternatively, it does sound like something that our customer support team could help you with. It sounds similar to things we've helped other customers with. So please feel free to open up a support ticket for that as well.
Cool. Next question is around whether we have any plans for multi-location inventory tracking. The customer sort of clarifies that they have multiple 3PLs. So for those who aren't familiar, that's a third-party logistics company. They sort of manage certain elements of the shipping and packing process for certain merchants. And they're sort of noting it would be great to segregate inventory for each channel and sell out of the correct channel. I can probably take this one, Eric. We don't have anything directly on a roadmap today about this. We do have parties that support this functionality that are in our App Store, so we would encourage you to check out the App Store and see if there's anything there that suits your needs. Examples of that would be Duoplane, which offers multiple inventory options and can send information directly to those providers and so forth. So we do have solutions that link into Zoe, but it's not something that we currently have built out in Zoe, and unfortunately it's not on our short-term roadmap, but it's definitely something we've been asked before and we'll obviously consider for the future.
Yeah, also if you've received the email that the marketing team has sent out about app requests and went to the form where you can check off all the different apps that you might want and put in your email address and send that to us. We've gotten many responses, which is great. At the top of that list is an item called Advanced Inventory Management, and that's exactly what it is. We do have a partner in the developer network that has registered that is interested in bringing over an app that they have for Magento and bring that into be a Zoe app. So by clicking on that checkbox in that form, putting your email address, that's helping us encourage those developers to kind of speed up the process to get those apps available to all of our customers.
Perfect. A couple of VDE-specific questions around sort of control. So the first one relates to, is there any ability with these new tools to exactly size or position blocks, for instance, examining, like putting exact pixel counts or sizing into the blocks that you're creating?
Yeah, that's actually one of the features that is currently on our short-term backlog for the Visual Design Editor. We wanted to get out all of these new blocks first, and then to get in some additional functionality. As you've seen, we've added a few pieces for what I call the power users, which includes things like the build your own section, the ability to lock and unlock. In that backlog of tools for that user group are definitely the ability to enter in pixel sizes, to specify fixed widths to specify lots of other CSS properties. What we've found is that you can actually use the up, down, left, right arrows, and you can use control drag to get as close as possible. Setting a specific width also helps you do that calculation, but I don't believe that it's going to be available within the next 4 weeks, but it is there on the short-term roadmap.
Great. The next one I can tackle is there going to be a recording of this webinar so you can watch again. The answer is absolutely yes. If you go to zoe.com and go to the Merchant Webinars page, it's just /merchant-webinars. We actually have a recording of every Merchant webinar we've done so far, which is 7 so far, and obviously we'll have more to come. We're going to schedule a second wave of webinars here soon and be getting those out to you, but you can watch them at any time. We're also starting to put them up on our YouTube channel. They do appear a little later there, but if you go to YouTube and you search for Zoe, you'll find our Zoe account and all of the videos that we're posting. A side note there, for those of you who are better visual learners than reading text, we are starting to release a video series which have how-tos and information about Zoe and how certain things work. So we're really trying to add to our video library, which will make it a little bit easier for those of you who learn better through video. So definitely check the Merchant Webinars page for a recording of this, but definitely also take advantage of the library that we are building because I think it's going to be very helpful to everyone as we move forward. Next question relates to the Contact Us page. Will there be an option to have a CAPTCHA to control bots and spam contact inquiries?
There already is. That just launched last week. So yeah, newsletter subscription, Contact Us forms, user registrations, any place that you can enter in information into a form and click submit has CAPTCHA. I think the one exception is in the checkout, which is also secure and requires a lot of additional information and items in the cart. So that's typically protected from bots a bit more. But we have upgraded our upgraded CAPTCHA. As a side note, it's something that we've also sent out emails about. Starting on May 1st, we're going to be requiring reCAPTCHA for all of those forms. For instance, the newsletter form in your footer. Right now, it's somewhat unprotected unless you enable CAPTCHA. Starting on May 1st, that is going to require CAPTCHA so that you will not be able to receive new newsletter signups without getting a reCAPTCHA account from Google and just copying and pasting the encryption keys into your Zoe store.
Great. Our next question is about if you are interested in a developer account, how to set one up. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to paste a link directly into the chat momentarily. It's going to link to a page on the Zoe.com site that talks about the app and theme developer toolkit, which is basically one and the same, but we have different features obviously for apps and themes. If you go there, there's a request access button on the top of the page, and that takes you to the form you fill out to register. But it provides a little more information up front first just to make sure you feel that it's for you, and then you can click to register. And one thing to note, because Eric mentioned it earlier, and I just will briefly touch on here, any pre-built apps and themes that are available inside the marketplaces are available for all plans. However, custom themes and apps do require the Premier plan. So if you're looking at building a custom theme or an app for your store, or if you're a developer doing it, that is something to keep in mind. It's sort of a higher end feature with some specific things that have to be supported, so it is a higher end feature today. So just keep that in mind if you're thinking about that as an option, because that does affect your monthly subscription. One question also, are we going to be updating the help section of the website with all of the new tools and features that we discussed today?
Yeah, absolutely. We can't just leave the ones there as is. A lot of it is still for design is applicable, but a lot will be added that will be new to discuss specifically what to do with the new features. Fortunately, I believe that this step from what we called V2, which is the current version, to V3 is making things a lot easier and more intuitive, but at the same time we are going to make sure that we have adequate documentation there for just how to do these things. And some of the demos that you've seen today are recorded as well, so those will be pasted directly into our new support section for the new design tools. So hopefully that answers your question.
Great, thank you. Another question, is there an ETA on when we'll be making the My Account section of the customer experience available in the VDE?
Yeah, absolutely. So now to answer part of the question, with the new Asset Manager, you'll have the ability to add custom CSS files directly to that page. So you will have the ability to edit that. Also, with the developer network, if you really need to customize that, we have a few customers that have come in that have needed to really customize that page to either add something new that wasn't there before, or to shrink it down for a very specific purpose. With the developer access, you'll have the full access to control that page. But bringing it to everybody, I would say that that's probably in a bit more of a longer term roadmap, probably still this year, as we look to add in more pages such as the login, create account, forgot password pages, the shopping cart, and a few other pages. But it's definitely on our list of to-dos, and we hope to have that out to everybody soon.
Excellent. We have a question about how long it takes to upload the recorded webinars. We usually act within 24 hours to have it up. Traditionally, it's up within an hour. So by the end of the day, you should have it on the page. We usually also link to the presentation too. We did have some animations in this one that sometimes from a GoToWebinar perspective doesn't always come through 100%. So just so you can have the ability to see the original presentation, we will also link to that as well. We have two questions actually relating to the blog. One is asking if there will be access to the blog layout in the VDE, and the other is asking if there will be any blog blocks that you can place on pages like the homepage.
Let me answer the second one first. Yes, we are adding in a blog feed widget. So there are actually going to be 4 templates for blog feeds. One is a sidebar, and 3 of them are pieces that you might want to put on any page, either near the footer or someplace to show like the 2 or 4 most recent posts. So that is coming immediately. As I mentioned also in the previous question about the My Account page, the blog post page and the blog list page are 2 templates that are high on our priority list to move into the visual design editor. Content and content marketing is so important. We want to make sure that we get that out to you guys soon. So that's definitely up there on our priority list to give you access in the VDE.
Great. One other question here is not really related to the VDE, but they're hoping we can still address this if we have time, which we do. Is there the ability coming to convert a guest checkout customer into an account? So like if they check out as a guest and we've obviously captured their email, have the ability to then convert them into like a standard customer account?
That is a great piece of functionality to add to our to that app request. I don't currently have that in any backlog right now or any timeline, but I know that it's something that does exist out there in the app marketplace for other platforms, and we have targeted it as one of those features that shouldn't be very difficult for developers to bring in. So if you haven't already, please go to that, and Josh could probably share a link to this as well. Go to the app request page, put in your email address, and in the other column, you click other, and you type that in, the guest checkout to subscription conversion. And we could definitely reach out to those developers to get that in.
Excellent. Thank you. Another question is, are checkout pages currently customizable or customizable in this new version?
No, for a very specific reason. So the checkout is something that we wanted to control very, very much. It's one of the most important parts of the process. But also we are opening up the checkout to developers. So right now we actually do have developers out there building some of the most requested features, which is the one-step checkout, currently being built by app developers, and a few other custom checkouts. If you are looking to modify the checkout for yourself and for yourself alone, that's something that could be done in that premium package, but would require developer access to do.
Sounds good, and I think it's worth noting that as the app marketplace grows, we also are exploring whether there's the possibility of allowing certain types of apps to offer alternative checkout experiences. It's not anything that we have anything close to announcing at this point, but we're evaluating it as an option. We're just not sure if that's going to be something we can support because obviously there's a lot of shipping and payment solutions that we need to make sure works with those types of things. So we're looking at it just to try to give people some choice, but we haven't gotten anywhere to announce yet, if that makes sense. I'm going to paste into the chat right now the link to the app request URL, which Eric mentioned a moment ago. This was emailed out to everybody a few days ago, but it's also available inside the support.zoe.com framework. So at any time, if you see something that you need, please fill out the form. What that does for me as head of partnerships is gives me some information to go to those who have developed it. It also helps our internal team if there's a way for us to accelerate it on our roadmap. So between those two avenues, we have a number of ways now to bring functionality to Zoe. So we'll definitely take that feedback from you in mind and make sure that we're focusing on the areas that you care the most about. We have another question that came in. They're wondering if with newsletter sign up there will be the ability to capture first and last name along with the email.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the new MailChimp app that just launched has that ability. The default newsletter signup currently does not, but it's definitely something that can be accomplished with the MailChimp newsletter signup. So if you go to zoe.com/apps, you click on the MailChimp app, add it to your store. They have a pop-up feature that will pop up and has the option to add first name and last name.
Great. And we have one more question at the moment. Any plan to support markdown blocks?
Not really sure what that means. So we do have an HTML block. So that is, I would assume that that's what you would need. If there's anything more specific that you're looking for, please let me know. But the build your own section has an HTML block. Currently, right now, you could just click on the HTML tab inside the add menu, drag that into your page, and put whatever code you need into it.
Excellent. Well, at this point, that does exhaust the questions in our queue. We'll wait one more minute just in case there's any last-minute questions that come in. Just a reminder, you can submit the questions using the questions feature of GoToWebinar, and then that'll come to us to address. While we're waiting that last minute, I do want to remind you that we will be posting a new wave of webinars at our merchant webinars page, zoe.com/merchant-webinars. In the next 7 to 14 days, we're continuing to work on a mix of partner and Zoe-based webinars for you. So as Eric mentioned, we'll have a developer follow-up webinar to focus more on the developer tools, and we'll probably have a second webinar for merchants that focus more directly on how to use the new tools once we get to the point where we're releasing them. So obviously we'll keep you posted on when those become available for registration, and we will continue to look for opportunities for content that help our merchants out. So to that end, if you have any suggestions, feel free to email me, josh@zoe.com, josh@zoe.com, and we'll be happy to look for opportunities to present that content as well. We did get one last question. Will the new tools allow any control over the product details block?
The product details block is going to be incorporated into one of those product page templates. So if you did need to do anything more custom, you can move into the build your own blocks, which allows you to have a separate control over the description, over the short description, over different smaller pieces. If you did need to do something a bit more drastic, such as a more drastic design for the product template, that is where the developer access would come in. You can get access to one of those templates and modify it however you would need with your HTML, CSS, and JavaScript.
Perfect. Well, on that note, based on the queue again being empty, we're going to wrap this up. So first of all, thank you to Eric for today's presentation. Again, if you have any questions that come up after the presentation, feel free to email us. You can email it to me, josh@zoe.com. We're also going to transcribe the questions as part of our follow-up email to everybody, so you know how to be able to listen in to a particular question if you want to review that portion of the webinar. So when we send this out, we'll include that time log for you as well. But in the meantime, we do thank all of you for joining us as well. We're always happy to have our merchants with us as well as our partners. And we'll be back soon with another merchant webinar. Until then, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.